Hey guys, Bird Yugioh here. So finally coming at you with a deck a lot of you guys have been wanting, my Pendulum Magician deck. This is updated for the new ban list, obviously, with Rusty Bardich. It's actually kind of weird to say, but this is a very control-based Pendulum deck. It's not one of those that's going to go crazy combos. You can, it just depends on your hand. But I've found through playtesting, this just like controls the field so easily. It's so fun. And actually, it is very budget. So this is a 50 card Pendulum deck. So the main deck obviously has quite a few cards. But the extra deck and the main deck, there's not very many expensive cards. But the extra deck, also not very many expensive cards. You might be thinking like Borreload. Savage Dragon is one that is a necessity. But I have a good replacement for that. And I'll show you why. And show you how it is still very good in this deck. But yeah, let's get right into it. As usual, if you guys need any cards seen in this video or any cards at all, use the link in the description for TCG Player. That will really help out the channel. So let's get right into this one. Of course, the best Magician Pendulum card is Harmonizing. She's absolutely amazing. Level 4, Tuner, Dark, everything you need. She's a high scale. Which you actually do have a lot of high scales in this deck, but nonetheless, really all you're using her for is to special summon or pendulum summon her from the hand, because then you get to special summon any magician from your deck, which you can go for another level 4, a level 3, a level 7, 6, whatever you need. She's perfect for this deck. Also playing 2 Wisdom Eye. He is, if you don't open Pendulum Call, he's your next best option. You know, obviously if you do open him, but I don't like him at 3. I felt Pendulum Call is better in almost every way. So I'll obviously play Pendulum Call and ways to get to Pendulum Call, with just 2 ways. You know, 2 of him I think is just fine. Basically how he works: if you have a Magician card in your other Pendulum Zone, you destroy him and then place any Magician Pendulum monster from your deck to the Pendulum Zone. You know, if you do cards like Oath Dragon, you can then just add him right back to your hand to then Pendulum Summon. So he's really good. And then newly off the ban list, Double Iris Magician. Only one. I really don't understand why it was just put at 1. It's an amazing card, but you know, we're able to get to it pretty much whenever we want with Pendulum Call. And then you're basically wanting to destroy this card, usually by its own effect, and then you can add a Pendulum Graph card from your deck to your hand, which we have a couple really good ones, so we'll get to those. Then we have 1 Purple Poison, potentially even played at 2, but for now I actually play another one in the side deck, because this is one that against some decks is just a blowout card. Heck, even like Eldritch, having a Purple Poison and your Time Pendulum Graph card, and then just like a Spell Trap Negate, usually is an auto win against them. Now, obviously not quite an auto win, that's an amazing deck, but you know, it makes the matchup a lot easier. So Purple Poison, if it's destroyed, you can target a face-up card in the field and destroy it. So simple as that. Black Fang, another decent one. If he is destroyed, you could target a Dark Spellcaster in your graveyard and special summon it. Oath Dragon, if this card is in your Pendulum Scale and you have another Magician, you can add a face-up Magician from your extra deck to your hand. So that's what I was saying with Wisdom Eye. You can place Oath Dragon and then just add that Wisdom Eye back to hand. Pretty cool. And it's level 6, so allows you to go into some extra deck monsters very easily. And then the last Magician we play is Janky. It's a level 7. That's the main reason, basically the only reason we play it. If you happen to be playing against the light base monster deck, it has a really cool on the field effect, where during either player's turn you can target a light monster, negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of the turn. So that's kind of cool sometimes. That's it again for the Magicians, and then we also play the Endymion engine, because it just works very well with this deck. Obviously 1 Servant, 2 of the big Endymion. Reason we play 2, obviously 1 to special summon from the deck off of Servant if you get 3 counters on her. But the other reason, it's a level 7, so this allows you to go into a rank 7. Obviously our Odd Eyes Absolute, and then that will allow us to go into some really cool cards. So obviously an amazing card if you get it, just leave it on the field. But also, like I said, level 7 is really nice for this deck. Play the Jackal King, another level 6 spellcaster, so perfect for this deck. And then another option for Servant if you do want a monster effect negate. This deck can actually do that very easily. So most of the time I like to go for like a spell trap negate, especially when I go to the extra deck. But it's always nice to have a Jackal King. And then one Reflection, again another level 7 option. And then a Magister. They both have their decent effects. Magister's level 3, so you can go into a level 7 Synchro if you have Harmonizing and Magister. So that's, again, another option. That is it for those 2 engines. And then we also have kind of our turbo cards, just to get more monsters on the board. Chronograph, again, another really nice level 6. Spellcaster, Dark, really nice. And then the one Time Gazer, obviously. And actually lately, I've been finding that I place Time Gazer in the scale, so that I can just get, a chronograph on the board easier to pendulum summon. Up to you if you want to. It's another level 3, so you can again go into a level 7 Synchro with Time Gazer and Harmonizing. And then we play the absolutely amazing Supreme King Darkworm. Again, another really good level 4 Dark. And then play 3 of those, and then 1 Gate 0. This is your level 7. You search it off of there, so you get a nice, really nice low scale. And then also just another level 7 that you can get on the board. And then we do play, since we're playing Rusty Bardich, playing the 1 Silent Boots and the 1 Ancient Cloak. I like both of them. You can definitely just play 1 if you want, but I definitely prefer 2. And then for our amazing draw engine, we play 2 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. This is twofold because it's also a water. I'll get to that later. But basically, you're going to normal summon this and then add a Spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. So that is it for the monsters. And I like 2 of him. He's basically about the only normal summon that you need in the deck. So I like 2. And then we have 2 Spellbook of Secrets. Starting off with our spells. This is going to search you your Spellbook of Knowledge. This is about the only one you don't want to see in your hand. You want to be searching it off of either Magician or Secrets. So that's why I like 2-2-1. I think it's perfect, and it's the best draw engine in the game and the best way of just generating spells, activating spells for Servant to get your spell counters on. And then pretty much all darks. Obviously there's a few other attributes in there, but mostly darks in our deck. So Allure of Darkness, really nice draw power. I chose not to play Pot of Desires just because there is a lot of super, super powerful one-of cards in this deck. So I just, went with another draw power with Allure, and then obviously the Spellbook engine. And then we also play the 3 Pendulum Call. This is your way of getting just 2 Pendulum Magicians to your hand. And then we play 3 Duelist Alliance. So this searches out Pendulum Call. It also can search our Double Iris. Because this card is always treated as a Pendulum Dragon. So Pendulum is in its name. So you can search it off a Duelist Alliance. Really nice there. 3 Spell Power Mastery to get our Endymion engine going. And then play 2 Dragon Shrine. That's just to send our Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. And then when that's in grave, you just get a free special summon, free monster on board. And then our Pendulum Graph cards. Play 1 Star Pendulum Graph, really nice. If a face-up Magician Pendulum monster leaves the field, so you can, link them away, you can add a Magician Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. And then your opponent cannot target Spellcaster-type monsters with spell cards or effects. Really nice. And then Time Pendulum Graph. I'm going to have to say this is probably the best Pendulum trap card in the game. It's a continuous trap. Your opponent's not going to target any of your spellcaster monsters with trap cards. And then you can target a Magician Pendulum monster on your field or in the Pendulum Zone, and one card your opponent controls and destroy them. And then let's say that card you targeted on your opponent's field is immune to destruction. If this card did not destroy 2 cards, you can just send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. So most of the time, for cards that are like protecting themselves and stuff like that, you can still get rid of it with Time Pendulum Graph. Really, really good card. You're going to use that effect on your turn, on your opponent's turn, every time around. It's really good. And then, since we're playing again the Phantom Knights, Fogblade, it's just free monster negate, basically, off of Rusty Bardich. Too easy. And then, we're also playing Rank Up Magic Launch. This is definitely not a Kali Yuga turbo deck, but it can go into it very easily. And if you can go into, obviously, a rank 7, you'll usually want to search this out. And I'll show you why with our extra deck. So that's main deck. Again, 50 cards. I've really been liking it. And it's been playing more control-based. Not quite, punch in the face pendulum deck, but really fun nonetheless. So starting off, extra deck with our links. Rusty Bardich. Can't see that. Absolutely amazing card. You're just going to send a Phantom Knights from your deck to the graveyard, and then set a Phantom Knight spell and trap from your deck to the spell zone. Another cool effect of his, if a Dark XYZ monster is special summoned to a zone he points to, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. So a really nice disruption effect there. And then a really easy way of getting to him is Underclock Taker. It's generic, so it just requires 2 effect monsters. So a lot of times I'll go into Underclock Taker with Odd Eyes Absolute, just because it requires just 2 effect monsters. And then I can then go into the Phantom Knights Rusty Bardich. So that's really nice. You could also, Crowley is a dark monster, and this is also just a really easy way, if you just have 2 spellcasters, to reveal 3 spellbook cards, and your opponent randomly picks one for you to add to your hand. Really nice. And then 1 Celine. Again, just requires spellcaster monsters, which we play a lot of, and more often than not, this is just a free monster from your graveyard. It's a very good card. Opens up 3 zones for you to then pendulum summon easier. She's pretty good. And then the last link is Saryuja. If you really want to go off and just combo like crazy, we play Saryuja. Most of the time I feel I don't need to go into it. Just like I said, it is more of a control-based deck. So Saryuja, it just always seems overboard for me when I can just, make a couple negates on board, have a couple set traps, and just kind of control the field from there. So that's our links we play. And then for our synchros, Dawn Dragster is our level 7, super easy to make, and it's our spell and trap negate. Again, I've explained having that spell trap negate is just so important. You can get to these Phantom Knight Fogblades fairly easily in your Time Pendulum Graph, so having these and just a spell trap negate is usually very, very good. So don't overlook that. Dawn Dragster, and it's a level 7, so again, it can help you go into Odd Eyes Absolute. And then the kind of cool tech card that we're playing, instead of the Borload Savage, of course that card got a reprint, so if you have it, play it. If not, you can pick up this cheap card. It's a level 8. It's not quite generic, but all that it requires is a water monster in your graveyard, which we have easy ways of doing that. So Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, he's searchable, he's a water, you're always going to want him in grave, you never want to leave him on the field. So having that water in grave is very easy. And also, with our other win condition, Odd Eyes Absolute is a water as well. So all you need is water in grave, which is, like I said, very easy. And then when your opponent activates a spell and trap, you can negate the activation and destroy it. So really good. Again, spell trap negates are super important in the extra deck, I feel. And then for going second, we have Ignister, possibly one of the best going second. It doesn't target. Basically, you just target a Pendulum monster. Sorry, it doesn't target your opponent's monster. You can target one Pendulum monster in the field, or in your Pendulum zone, destroy it. And if you do, you just shuffle one card on the field into the deck. So really nice. Like I said, for going second, just clearing whatever you need on the board. And then for XCs, playing one Time Star. Usually when you're going first, you want to make him, because you can detach one and then add a Dark Spellcaster from your deck to your hand. And then if a Pendulum monster in your Monster Zone or Pendulum Zone would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just send a Spellcaster from your deck to the graveyard instead. So really good protection there as well. He's a Dark, so if you summon him while you have Rusty Bartich on board, you'll be able to pop a card. And then for going second, we have Supreme King, Dragon, Dark Rebellion. Again, another dark one, so you can pop a card if you summon it while Rusty Bartich is on the field. And then before damage calculation, if this card battles, you can detach one, change the attack of that monster it's attacking to 0, and then this card gains that lost attack, basically. So you can potentially OTK very easily with this card, and just a free pop if you have Rusty Bartich on board. And we're also playing Norito. Again, another spell trap negate. This just requires 2 level 6 spellcasters, which we have quite a few. You just, when your opponent activates spell trap, detach one, negate, and destroy. Really nice. And then we have our Odd Eyes Absolute. Go into him with any 2 level 7s. And then when you link him away, so if he's sent to the graveyard, you can summon a Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck. So sometimes that's going to be Odd Eyes Vortex. Amazing negate. Basically negate anything. Just by shuffling a face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck into the deck. Really nice. And then a lot of times you actually find you don't summon this off of Odd Eyes because you're going to summon out Odd Eyes Rebellion. Or you could do Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. Either one, doesn't matter. All you need this to be is basically an Odd Eyes that's a level 7 and dark. Because then you use your rank up magic launch to then change him on your opponent's turn into Kali Yuga. And like I said, this is not a Kali Yuga turbo by any means. It is, again, very easy to get into. But if you make this on your opponent's turn, you basically win. 2 different ways. So when this card is XC summoned, for the rest of the turn, other cards and their effects cannot be activated on the field, and other cards' effects on the field are negated. And then during either player's turn, you can just detach one and destroy all spells and traps on the field. So, you make this on your opponent's main phase, and then they try to set some cards, you just destroy them. Destroy them all, and then on your turn, you win. Because you have a 3,500 attack, you just need a couple more monsters, but you're already going to have a few other monsters on the board once you make this. So, yeah, you pretty much win if you make... Basically, if you get to your Odd Eyes Rebellion and have your rank up magic launch. Because actually, generally, if you have a rank up magic launch, you also have a set Fog Blade. So, yeah, it's really good. This deck has a lot of options. You guys know how I love playing decks that just have a lot of options. And this is definitely one of them. You can do a lot of cool stuff with the deck. But yeah, check it out. Check out this Adamancipator Ryzen card. It should still be super cheap. And with a deck like this that can easily just get Waters to grave, it's just a free spell trap negate. Really nice. Yeah, hope you guys liked it, and we'll catch you on the next one.